Welcome, my dear students. Today we want to learn how to add and subtract integers. Let's start with the number line. If you want to add integers using the number 9. Okay, for example, 3 plus negative 6. Okay, to add a negative number, it means move to the left. Okay, so let's start. We will start from 3. Then we will move to the left 6 steps. Okay, let's move to the left 6 steps. So the result will be negative 3. Okay, this is the first example. 3 plus negative 6, we said start from 3, then move to the left because we are adding a negative number. The result will be negative 3. The next one, negative 3 plus negative 2. So I'll start from negative 3. Then move to the left. How many places or how many steps? 2 steps. Okay, 2 steps. So the result will be negative 5. Okay, so negative 3 plus negative 2 equals negative 5. Okay, in general, if we have 2 integers and we want to add them, if the 2 integers have the same sign, in this case we will write this sign, then add the values. So the same sign, take the sign and add. If the 2 integers have different sign, in this case I'll take the sign of the greater value, then subtract, don't add. So again, the same sign, take the sign and add. Different sign, take the sign of the greater and subtract. Okay, let's take some exercises to clarify this point. The first one here we have 3 plus negative 5. Different sign, take the sign of the greater, negative, then subtract 5 minus 3 equal 2. So the result will be negative 2. 12 plus 16. The same sign, take the sign which is positive, but don't write positive sign, and add. 12 plus 16 equal 28. Negative 45 plus 40. Different sign, take the sign of the greater which is negative, then subtract. 45 minus 40 is 5, so the result is negative 5. By the same way, 100 plus negative 120. Different sign, take the sign of the greater, negative, then subtract. 120 minus 100 is 20, so negative 20. The next one, negative 19 plus 25. Take the sign of the greater, 25, so the sign will be positive. Then subtract 25 minus 19, the result will be 6. Negative 2 plus 3 plus negative 7. Okay, negative 2 plus 3, at first start from the left. Negative 2 plus 3, different sign, take the sign of the greater, positive sign. 3 minus 2 equal 1. So 1 plus negative 7, then 2 different signs. So take the sign of the greater, negative, and subtract. 7 minus 1 equal 6. 250 plus 100. The same sign. So add and take this sign which is positive. So the result will be 350. The last one, we have different sign. So I'll take the sign of the greater which is positive. Then subtract. 20 minus 12 is 8. Okay, so again, if we have 2 integers with the same sign and we are adding them, take the sign and add. If you have different sign, take the sign of the greater and subtract. What about subtracting integers? If we are subtracting an integers, it means we are adding to the inverse. Do you remember the inverse? The inverse of 3 is negative 3. The inverse of 5 is negative 5. The inverse of 10 is negative 10. So the inverse is the same value but with different or with opposite sign. Okay? So if we have, for example, 25 minus 3, it means we are adding to the inverse. It means 25 plus what is the inverse of 3? Negative 3. Okay, so I'll change the subtract here to plus. Then put the inverse of the second number, another one. Negative 3 minus negative 6. Okay, so negative 3 plus, and instead of negative 6, what is the inverse of negative 6? 6. It means negative 3 plus 6. The sign of the greater 6, and 6 minus 3 equal 3. 140 minus negative 40. Minus will become plus, and negative 40 will become 40. The inverse of negative 40 is 40. Then add 140 plus 40, it means 108. Okay, now let's study the properties of addition operation in integers. We studied before the properties of addition operation in natural number. Today we want to study the properties of addition operation in integers. The first property is closure property. Closure property means that if you have two integers, the result, when you add them, the result also will be an integer. Okay, so for any a and b belongs to z, a plus b also will be in z. For example, 3 plus negative 12, the sign of the greater than subtract, so negative 9. Negative 9 also belong to z. Okay, this is the first property, closure. Two numbers belong to z, it means the addition, the result of the addition of the two numbers also belongs to z. The second property is commutative property. Commutative property means if you have two numbers a and b, a plus b is the same as b plus a. Let's see, 9 plus negative 11. I'll take the sign of the greater, which is negative, then subtract, so the result will be negative 2. By the same way, negative 11 plus 9, take the sign of the greater negative, and 11 minus 9 equal negative 2. So this is the commutative property. Number 3, we have associative property. Associative property means the order of doing the addition operation. For example, we have a, b, and c. We want to add the three numbers. You can add a plus b at first, then add c, or you can add b plus c at first, then add a. The same result. For example, here we have 3 plus negative 9 plus 4. In the first side here, in the left hand side, I want to add 3 plus negative 9 at first, then I'll add 4. 3 plus negative 9, negative 6. Negative 6 plus 4 equal negative 2. Okay, let's move to the right hand side. This is the right hand side. I'll add the negative 9 plus 4 at first, then I'll add 3. Okay, so we have 3 plus negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5. 3 plus negative 5 equal negative 2, so the same result. Okay, this is the associative property. So the first property, closure, the second property, commutative property, and the third property is associative property. Also we have additive identity or additive neutral. Okay, as in natural number, 0 is the additive identity. What do you mean by additive identity? It means a number, if you add to any integer, the result will be the same number. Okay, so 0 is the additive identity or the additive neutral because any number a plus 0 is the same as 0 plus a equal a. Okay, a won't change if you add it to 0. Let's move to property number 5. We have the additive inverse. This property wasn't in natural number, but here in integers, each number has an inverse, the same value but with a different sign. So for any number a belongs to z, there is an inverse. The inverse of a is negative a, also belong to z, where a plus negative a equals 0. Okay, let's take an exercise using these properties to add. For example, here we have use the properties of addition operation in z to find the result mention the property. We have negative 20 plus 15 plus 20. Okay, at first I want to change the place of 20 with 15. 15 plus 20 is the same as 20 plus 15. So I write negative 20 plus 20 plus 15. Okay, this property is, yes, commutative property. So this is the first property. Okay, now we have, I want to add negative 20 plus 20, then I want to add 15 to them. So I'll add negative 20 plus 20, then plus 15. This is the which property? Associative property. Okay. Okay, negative 20 plus 20 is 0. Okay, negative 20 plus 20 is 0. This is the additive inverse. Negative 20 is the additive inverse of 20, so the result is 0. Now 0 plus 15 equal 15, yes, and this is the additive identity. Also we have closure because 15 belongs to Z. Okay, that's all about our session today. I hope you have understand. As usual, I want you to solve more exercises, and thank you very much for watching. Next time we will talk about how to multiply and divide integers. Thank you very much for watching. See you next session, and goodbye.